Welcome back to Jewish Baseball More Than a Game, where we explore the intersection of sport identity and culture through the stories of Jewish players who've made an impact both on and off the field. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by a guest who's not only made his mark as a professional pitcher, but also as an entrepreneur and passionate representative of Jewish pride in baseball. He's pitched for Team Israel on the world stage, including the Olympics, and he's also the founder of Stadium Custom Kicks, a company revolutionizing the way athletes express themselves through custom gear. Alex, thank you so much for joining us. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Right on. Well, I think we should just dive right into it. So obviously you had great career at St. John's that led you into professional ball and then playing for Team Israel. Talk to me a little bit about your time in college and how that kind of set you up for success down the road, to continue to be playing baseball at a high level.
Yeah, so I went to St. John's and I was there from 2013, 14, and 15 season. I graduated in 2016, but got drafted by the Chicago White Sox in 2015. Had a great experience there. Great team, great program. I enjoyed the school overall. And then in my junior year, 2015, our team had a really successful season. We won the Big East regular season and the Big East tournament, and seven players from our team got drafted, including myself.
That's crazy. Seven guys on one team is a lot, especially from the Big East, too. You don't normally see that.
Yeah, and out of the whole roster, I'd say only about 14 guys were eligible to get drafted. Because freshmen and sophomores can't get drafted. So that just shows how how great of a year that was for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's crazy. So 50% of the guys eligible, that's like unheard of, especially back on the East Coast. Are you originally from the East?
Yeah, I grew up on Long Island, so only about 10 miles from campus.
Oh, wow, that's close. I'm actually from the East Coast too. I'm from New York. So I was a big St. John's fan growing up. Used to go to all their games.
You hear a lot about their basketball program, well, as of recently too, but I guess their baseball program has some pretty competitive years in there as well, right?
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. Even men's soccer, fencing. Yeah, a lot of good programs at St. John.
And they're highly academic too. Was that kind of important for you, when you were choosing a school, trying to get recruited and whatnot, having both high academics and high athletics?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I'd say overall, baseball is number one, just because I was recruited to some Ivy League schools and chose St. John's over those. Obviously St. John's has great academics, but going to a quality baseball program was most important.
Definitely. And I mean, as you said, didn't slip in the academic department at all either. Going kind of away from the college game and more to the international game, can you kind of speak to the major differences you saw as a pitcher, pitching for Team Israel and then, even pitching for the White Sox or St. John's?
Yeah, I mean it depends which tournament that Team Israel was in. Um, like the European Championships and Olympics, the World Baseball Classic are three different tournaments, different levels for sure. A World Baseball Classic has got to be compared to like MLB All-Star games. I mean, some of these teams that we play are stacked with, star MLB players. The Olympics was a little bit mixed. Olympics was very, very high. A lot of older guys and a lot of younger guys. The World Baseball Classic is more like most of the teams are playing is every star player in their prime. And then European Championship is mixed depending on which country you're playing. Some countries are pretty stacked with guys that played affiliated ball, AAA, big league time. And then some of the teams in the European Championships are like almost like a college level per se.
Yeah, I mean, with everything you have going on with running the business and playing professionally and playing for Team Israel, how do you balance it all and how do you kind of stay at the top of your game so you can compete against, these high level players that are either playing in the MLB or, even when you go and play in the European Championships, like they've got some studs too. So how do you
Yeah.
keep game at the highest level?
I think my initial thought is I don't know anything else besides that, just because I've been doing this since 2017. Almost the majority of my professional career been running the business. I'd say the best way to answer that is that there is a lot of downtime playing professional sports, and everyone chooses to do different things with that downtime. Some guys are playing poker on the bus, some guys are playing video games, some guys just go home and sit on the couch and watch TV for a couple hours. So a lot of my free time is spent working, but I love it. I love everything that what I do. So there's really no complaints there.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't feel like work if you're enjoying it, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And when I'm doing something, I'm fully devoted to it. So like, when I'm playing, when I'm on the field, I'm not thinking about shoes whatsoever. But when I'm working on the shoes, I'm not thinking about playing whatsoever. I've become, over the years, I've become better and better at separating the two things.
Absolutely. I mean, can you take a deep dive into how, Stadium Custom Kicks started?
Yeah, so that right there is actually the first pair. I was with the White Sox. I was drafted by the White Sox 2015, and I think it was 2016. One of the coordinators came into town, and he told me that my black Nike cleats had too much white on them, and the only thing white on them was a Nike check. So pretty much after practice, I had to go in the clubhouse and take a Sharpie and Sharpie out the cleats. They wanted them 100% black, and in college we had to wear a team issue cleats. So pretty much from any high level on, college and on, at that point, I had to pretty much wear bland black cleats or the team issue cleats that we had at St. John's. So when I got invited to play in the World Baseball Classic, we had the blue, the gold, the silver, and the white. I thought it'd be cool to have colored cleats. I had these cleats right here from the World Baseball Classic qualifiers in fall of 2016. I was the second youngest on the team, and I didn't pitch at all. I didn't throw one inning in that tournament. We ended up advancing. I was surprised that I made the main roster for the spring of that year because I hadn't proved myself. I hadn't been able to show the coaches or front office guys my capabilities. Definitely grateful that I made the team, and although those cleats were partially worn but not, I was able to dust them off a little bit and throw some paint on them, and they came out all right for the first pair, and the rest is history. Posted them on social media, and friends and teammates wanted to get pairs as well, and pretty much charged them $10.
That's awesome. What was the first actual pair from Stadium Custom Kicks you've ever sold outside of friends and family?
Outside friends of family was probably teammates of friends.
Okay.
Yeah. So just yeah, and then when we started customizing soon after that pair, Aaron Judge and Rob Refsnyder were the first two MLB players to reach out. They saw our post on What Pros Wear, which is an Instagram account that reposts cleats. So What Pros Wear reposted the photo of my cleats, and then they had probably 150, 160,000 followers at the time. So that was good first exposure.
That's so cool.
Yeah, power of social media, right? And it's only continuing
Definitely.
to create connections and network. And yeah, what's been your favorite part of running the business other than maybe getting to meet some of these really awesome players and, getting your brand out there to the big leaguers?
I think you listed all the best parts, but other than that, my own shoe game has stepped up a lot since then. So yeah, that's probably one of the cool perks.
Definitely has
Yeah,
to have the owner of, Stadium Custom Kicks can't be walking around with, bland shoes.
And exactly. Even my stock shoes have to be nice. So yeah, that's been growing, and it's still growing. There's still some work to be done there.
I think the coolest part is I read it online that it allows players to kind of showcase a little bit about their identity. And I feel like that's kind of what we're trying to do here with Shalom Sluggers is just everyone has their own unique story and their own unique journey, and we're just trying to share that as much as we can. So how do you feel like that, goal that you have kind of ties into who you are as a player, who you are as a person, and how you kind of represent yourself on the field?
Yeah, no, definitely. So I think that's super important that besides running the business, I also play and I'm familiar with what our customers are looking for. But yeah, it's extremely important to be able to be yourself and showcase yourself out there on the field because we obviously don't just do baseball cleats. I've never played competitive football or soccer or other sports like that, just recreationally. But I feel like to be successful at anything, you have to feel comfortable and you have to be yourself out there. When you try too hard, when you're not comfortable, when you start second guessing yourself, you don't play to the best of your capabilities. I hope that our work brings out the best in everyone.
100%. Could not agree with you more. Shifting just kind of away from Stadium Custom Kicks and more into, Judaism. How has, being Jewish from, growing up in Long Island, throughout your life, how has that, impacted you today?
Yeah, definitely. I was bar mitzvahed, but honestly, haven't been to synagogue much since then, just with my baseball schedule and everything like that. But Yeah, I mean it represents who I am, my ancestors, family. There's not many of us in this world, so it's a special feeling. We have to have each other's backs. But definitely started feeling closer with Judaism even more once I made Aliyah for the Olympics with Team Israel. Probably even more than when I was bar mitzvah.
Yeah, I think I can agree with you. Not that it was like I was my mom raised my brother and I Jewish, we grew up to went to Hebrew school. I had a bat mitzvah and all that, but you don't really realize the depth of like how all that kind of shapes who you are until later in life when you've like kind of matured and become your own person, right? Did you ever think you would become a dual citizen? When you were growing up and going to Hebrew school? And what was that like, especially gearing up for the Olympics?
Oh yeah, probably never a thought. Even once I joined Team Israel in 2016, I never gave that a thought. It wasn't until Peter Kerr's probably like summer or fall of 2017 said that we're trying to qualify for the Olympics. And I had to do a lot of research, make sure that I didn't have to serve in the military, but I was already 21 at the time, so I guess that wasn't an option there. But yeah, no, definitely definitely a cool feeling to be a dual citizen.
What is the coolest, who is the coolest batter or player you've ever faced? I gotta know.
Coolest batter. I was actually just looking at my computer the other day, and in like 2017 or 18, I started taking notes of guys in the big leagues who I faced. But I think I gave up after that because faced a lot of guys after that. I'd say Juan Soto comes to mind. Julio Rodriguez comes to mind. I mean, there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys that I faced. I've been playing, professionally for over 10 years. So lots of different leagues that I played in, and guys that end up becoming big leaguers or guys that were former big leaguers. Yeah, I'd say Juan Soto just because I right before this I was watching the Mets Yankee game, and that's all they keep talking about is Juan Soto because he's playing the Yankees right now.
Yep, same here. I was watching it before and I was getting quite aggravated at the Yankees, but it's okay. But that's so cool. When you face a guy like Juan Soto, what goes through your mind? Because some guys are like, fuck it, I'm just going right at him. Whatever happens, happens. Or you like, or some guys over.
So yeah, so this was 2018. He was in low A, but like a month and a half later, he was already in the big leagues from low A, which is pretty incredible. Low A, you don't really know, you don't really have scouting reports because the guys are so young and inexperienced. But for some reason, like the weeks leading up to playing them, all the coaches kept talking about Soto, Soto, Soto. And we had a fake batter in the bullpen, right? Because sometimes you have like a dummy in there just to stand in there. And like they named him Juan Soto. And guys were like making fun of all the guys on the team were making fun of the coaches and why are we hyping up this guy? Like, who is he? And he ended up becoming one of the best hitters in the game and highest paid athletes of all time. But I faced him twice that year. The first time I struck him out, and I don't think there was anyone on base. The second time I came in with bases loaded. I think it was like the bottom of the ninth and two outs. And I got him to fly out, I think left field to the warning track. So he almost hit a walk-off grand slam against me, but got out. So he's 0 for 2 against me with a strikeout. No one knows that he almost took me opposite field walking off, but it ended the games. The stats are in my favor on that matchup. Obviously, hope to face him again, maybe in the World Baseball Classic next year.
Yeah, you can hang up the cleats and feel good about your career with what you've done against Juan Soto. But how do you keep your composure? I mean, I'm not a pitcher, so I know the mindset is a little bit different as far as your game plan and whatnot, but when you're facing people like that or just in general too, like what's your mindset kind of on the mound? How do you trust in, your stuff and just go right at batters?
Yeah, honestly, when I'm on my A game, I don't even know who's in the batter's box. I'm just so locked in on the glove that I don't even know who's there. Remembering those at bats against Soto, I guess I wasn't on my A game. I was on my A minus game. So I guess in those at bats I knew who I was facing. But at the end of the day, it's always in the pitcher's advantage. If a hitter is hitting 300 off you, they're still getting out 70% of the time. So majority of the time, the pitcher is going to get the guy out. So the best way to describe it is in college, our coaches kept saying, "Hey guys, to the pitchers, hey guys, just keep watching batting practice. The guy's throwing 50 miles per hour and the hitter's note is coming right down the middle. It's a perfectly straight fastball. And watch how many times the hitters pop up. Watch how many times they ground out to the infielders. You sometimes pitchers make it seem harder than it is. You just have to keep it simple and simplify things. As a pitcher, your best outings are the ones that feel so easy, which is why when you struggle as a pitcher, it's the most frustrating thing ever because you've realized how easy it is in your best outings, right? So you just have to be confident, give your best stuff, and throw it over the plate, and that's it. After that, you can't control it. You can't control if the guy makes contact. You could throw a ball 110 miles per hour with 25 inches of horizontal movement, and the guy still makes contact, right? So you just have to trust your stuff, and whatever happens, happens. Hopefully, you have a good team behind you in defense.
Young pitchers listening, I hope you just listen to that because that is probably the best piece of advice you will ever get.
That was awesome. Yeah, I think I'll let you get your question after this, but like it's just I continue to learn more and more about this game, like the more conversations that we have and just different perspectives of how people put things together. So yeah, I think that was really well said, Alex.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
I've had some good coaches over the years, so I try to put them all together. So maybe I'd be a good coach one day.
Who's your most influential coach you ever had?
Most influential coach. That's tough. I've had a lot of good coaches.
I'll give you more than one.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I'd have to put Corey Muscara up there. He was my college pitching coach at St. John's. So he was probably the coach I've had the longest, just because in pro ball usually changes every year. And most of my years in affiliate ball, I wasn't on one team the whole year, so I really didn't have a pitching coach more than like a month or two. But yeah, you put me on the spot there. There's so many. I've probably had 30 to 40 pitching coaches over the years. So yeah, quite a lot of coaches, but they were all good. They were all good. To be a coach at the professional level, just it's hard enough to be a player in professional ball, but for every 15 pitchers, there's only one coach. So there's it's actually harder to make it as a coach and a player.
100%.
Yeah, do you feel like, because I think I can relate to this, that like the older I get and the more that I'm kind of in tune with who I am as a player, who I am as a person, balancing, like a full-time job, that I'm almost a better player because of it. Like I am able to kind of, like you said, when I'm on the field, like that's game time. Like I'm 100% dialed into that. And then I can come off the field and be dialed into work. Do you feel the same as the older that you've gotten and the more experienced and more mature that you've gotten, that the game kind of has come a little bit easier almost? And you're just like able to kind of go out there and remember why you're playing it. Whereas in college, it's like so pressure filled, and probably too at the professional level, but just being able to balance and separate. Do you feel like that's kind of helped you in your career?
Yes, but no. I'd say mostly yes. I'd say mostly yes because, like you said, you mature and you're able to separate things. You're able to manage workload better, manage your schedule better, not try to do everything in one day. That's what I used to do years ago. I used to think that I had to finish every single thing for our company before I go to bed, and then I realized that it actually is never ending. If you finished everything, that means you have no orders. That means you don't have a business anymore. So I realized there's always something to do. Hired the right people, take a lot off my workload, hire good people, good quality people. Because I realized that hiring one bad person can really give you more work than if you didn't hire them in the first place. So that's a big part of it. The slight no that I had to that is because, sometimes when you're younger, you could just wake up, not even stretch, and just throw cheese as a pitcher.
Yes.
Now I actually have to like spend like 30. I'm not even old. Like there's guys way older than me who play professional baseball. But yeah, I mean, definitely as you get older, you have to really take care of your body. I've had some small injuries over the last few years, so even with the work ethic that I have, so it's definitely important to take care of the body and spend however much time you need to get your body right.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I play slow pitch softball and it's still the same way. Like I'll swing bat once, wake up the next morning, don't even want to move out of bed. So, get at a different level, you guys.
You swing hard.
Oh yeah. I mean, slow pitch softball, you can't, not swing hard.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess one of my last questions for you is, if there are any kids out there today, because baseball is the most humbling game ever. What is your advice to them in the game, whether it be pitching, whether it be hitting, whether it even be as if they want to coach when they're older. What is your advice to them to, their mindset and how they approach the game?
I think number one is have fun. And I think we lose sight of that because kids are already gearing up to get recruited by colleges when they're like 13 years old, which is crazy. And they're thinking, oh, scholarship, velocity, comparing themselves to other people, looking at rankings, showcases, all this kind of stuff. At the end of the day, you got to have fun, which is why I love on Sunday Night Baseball, they mic up the players. And I know Brandon Nimmo was mic'd up tonight, and it looks like that guy's 5 years old. He's like 32, 33 years old, and he's playing like he's 5 years old, just having the time of his life. He's not stressed out. He's not nervous because there's 60,000 people in the stadium, millions of people watching at home. He's just having fun, enjoying life, playing the game. And if he's having fun, then a 10-year-old should have fun. 15-year-old should have fun, and anyone, because that's the highest level in the world. There's no one playing at a higher level than that. If he's having fun, then anyone else that's playing baseball should have fun. If you're not having fun, then you should do something else. Right? It's especially living in the United States of America. You have the ability to do whatever the hell you want. That's the great thing about a free society. So yeah, don't do something just for the hell of it. I guess that's more of a life lesson. Do things because you enjoy it.
100%. Great advice.
I guess, yeah, going off that, one of my last questions for you, Alex, is you're obviously an incredibly hard worker in all aspects of your life. So what's next for Stadium Custom Kicks and baseball? Or like, what are the goals that you have in the next couple of years? I know you probably have them listed out somewhere.
Yeah. So Stadium Custom Kicks, just keep growing and growing. Working more teams. Last year we worked with 25% of the NFL. So, the goal is to work with more and more teams in professional sports, keep getting creative with designs. It's a cool feeling to see some of the designs and themes that we do being copied by other large brands, because we know that they're watching us, and we're trying to change the game, and we like when people follow us. We like to lead the way. So that's actually been happening a lot. A lot of the larger brands are starting to get inspiration from our designs, which is also cool because we release around 8 new designs every week. So we're always just pumping out content and designs, while some other large brands are pumping out new designs every quarter. So that's something we take pride on. From a baseball standpoint, this is probably the first time in my life that I'm not with a team at the moment in May, but I'm looking to play somewhere next a couple of weeks. So I'll be, I'm ready. So I've already played games. I was in Dubai playing in that new professional league out there. So I came back from that. It almost felt like 2 off seasons. Off season, getting ready for that back home, and now getting ready for the next team that I signed with. Hopefully that comes soon. And then with Team Israel, we have the European Championships, then back to Dubai, and then hopefully make the World Baseball Classic team again for next spring. So that would be my third World Baseball Classic. So I'm trying to be up there. And I know there's only a handful of players that have played in 3. So that's obviously the goal.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know it's hectic. Myself, Maddie, we really appreciate it. But just before you go, I gotta ask, what is one piece of advice maybe you have for us trying to, build a brand, because you have been so successful doing so?
Yeah, you just gotta chip away. I think a lot of people that start new businesses try to be too formal and like try to be pen to paper, by the book. You can't be by the book, because you could spend hours upon hours creating all these goals for yourself and these formulas, and it could change in a minute. You have to be able to adjust quickly. That's my best piece of advice. You have to be able to adjust quickly, and good communication between you and whoever you're working with. That's most important. Understand each other's roles and stuff like that. Set a precedent early on, because how I feel like businesses fail because they start to get success and then they can't handle what comes to them. So, you have to be able to adjust quickly.
Good advice. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. We've had a few guys on here that I've crossed paths with in like other areas. So it's just really fun to be able to come back and, make it kind of a full circle moment. And I'm sure we'll cross paths again down the road, but obviously just love connecting with other Jewish athletes and, trying to do more of this on the baseball side to connect with the softball side and grow together. So Yeah, it's been great, chatting with you and appreciate your time, like Danny said.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate you guys having me.
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.